Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hi, I'm Wendy. I'm a third culture kid from Germany, but now I'm living in Singapore. You probably clicked on this video because you're looking for a job in Singapore, or maybe you're just curious how it's done. In this video, I'm going to talk about my own experiences, but obviously there are other ways to find jobs in Singapore. For example, moving with a company, or also join an accelerator program to become an entrepreneur. If you're curious how I found my first ever full-time job in Singapore, stay tuned. I'll also include some timestamps, but I obviously recommend you to watch step by step because that makes the most sense. Before we start with the step-by-step guide, I want to make sure that you know what your goals are and what you're getting yourself into. Without further ado, let's start. First of all, be an expert for the industry that you're applying for. What makes you unique? What makes you stand out? I've once received a very valuable advice from one of my mentors. He said, make it hard for them to not hire you. So what does he mean by that? It basically means that you have to be an expert. Be so good at what you're doing, do it with conviction, so that it will be very difficult for the company to not hire you because they would literally lose out if they don't. Second advice I have is grow your network, because your network is your net worth. Try speaking to as many people as you can. You never know what these opportunities or friendships may bring. Which also leads me to the next point. Connect to as many people as you can on LinkedIn and learn about their jobs. Learn about what they do in a day-to-day, what makes them successful. Because essentially you want to reach out to the people that are doing the job that you want to do. I'm not saying you should steal their jobs, but you should learn from them. Stay curious, ask what their challenges are, how they overcame it, and also how they become better at their jobs. Once you have figured out how to actually master your role, it's time for you to find a job. So how do you do it? I'm a fan of skip all the platforms, skip all the HR, but reach out to the hiring managers. Reach out to the decision makers, because those are the ones that are going to hire you in the end. This might be a bit controversial, but it works. A bit about my own history. So back then, I was traveling in Singapore and I was like, oh, actually I quite like this place. Let me try to find a job here. So what did I do? I utilized my network and reached out to my friend that is Singaporean and asked him, hey, do you know someone that's hiring for this role in this industry? He knew someone that was hiring. So I was like, okay, cool. So how do I do it? He's like, oh, he suggested you to just cold outreach to this person. And I'm like, okay, this sounds a bit odd and I'm not sure if this is a common practice, but since I was applying for a business development role, this would actually prove my skills. So what did I do? I reached out to this hiring manager, and at that point, he was like, okay, so why should I hire you? And that is also the mentor that gave me the advice, make it hard for them to not hire you. Spoiler alert, this hiring manager ended up hiring me, and that's how I landed my first job. And so he gave me his WhatsApp and asked me to message him. And he suggested, hey, let's jump on a call. I messaged him and suggested some times. However, he didn't follow up on that, which also leads me to the next point. Allow yourself to fail, but don't get discouraged. It's basically a numbers game. Have an abundance mindset and be patient. You can't harvest something that you just planted yesterday. Going back to the story how this hiring manager or mentor didn't reply to my message, which leads me to how important it is to be likable. People don't owe you anything. People won't remember what you said, but they will remember how you made them feel. So he didn't reply to my WhatsApp. What did I do? Instead of annoying someone, you have to get creative. You have to find ways to catch their attention. So how did I do it? He posted something on LinkedIn saying, don't waste your time applying on platforms, reaching out to HR or recruiters. He said, reach out to the hiring manager directly. So what did I do? I took his post, I sent it back to him and say, hi, by the way, speaking of this, I wonder when you would be free for a call. I messaged you on WhatsApp, but in case you haven't seen this, these are the time slots. Let me know if you prefer another time. So with that, basically, I made him feel good about himself. I made him feel like, oh, she is actually paying attention and she is following up. Hence, I'm saying, don't be afraid to follow up. So what I was doing is, I was basically doing what a business development person would do. As a BD, you have to be able to catch people's attention without annoying people. So you gotta get creative, because people don't owe you anything. Be likable. Humans are irrational creatures. In the end, it's really just based on if this person likes you or not. Next step, Practice your elevator pitch. Essentially, what you're doing right here is to sell yourself. Mimic your counterparty. How do they interact? How do they speak? Find things that you have in common. Try to build that connection, especially in Asia. In Asia, relationships are so much more important than any hard skill that you may have. Of course, you gotta have some hard skills, but soft skills are crucial. People talk about relationships before they talk about business. Make the person trust you. So how should you behave during this entire time? Just be confident, be yourself, find ways to calm yourself down. Don't try to relax, because what it does, it's gonna make you panic more, right? Envision how well everything will go, and that's gonna prepare you for excitement. If you have a mindset of, oh no, I'm not good enough, then that will set you up for failure. Believe you can, and you'll be able to. I remember when I was looking for a job, I had 5 criteria. I wanted to move abroad, ideally Singapore. I wanted to live by myself. I wanted to be able to travel for my job. And I wanted to be able to travel for fun. Lastly, I wanted to have enough to save up for an emergency fund or my investment portfolio. I know that this sounds crazy, but trust me, you have to have your goal in mind. And if your goal doesn't sound crazy, if people don't think that you're crazy, then you're not dreaming big enough. Dreaming is for free. You can dream. You should dream bigger, because the bigger the dream, the more successful you'll be. Don't hold yourself back. You're the only one that's holding yourself back. And lastly, I would say just enjoy the process, because even if you may not be able to find a job, but you have learned a lot along the way. So stay curious, stay kind, and just be patient with yourself. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this type of video, feel free to subscribe and like this video. It would really help with the algorithm, and I shall see you next time.